I used to take my strolls, head high, feather in my cap, dressed to impress a bunch of strangers who could care less who I am, yet they measured my success based on material possessions. And much like them, I never thought to count my blessings, but instead I'd brag and take for granted what I had, until I met someone with nothing. And on that humble day, I tipped my hat. I finally realized how long I lived under that shade. It's almost like I blocked the light from entering my life. In many ways it opened my eyes. So it's like they always say, closed mouths won't get fed. So open wide, I'll give you a taste of what this recipe based, so it's no surprise. Why the issue? Street, freelance writers, we know the signs. Help, homeless, lost my job, I'm hungry. I quoted lines, all they wanted was some change, right? But all we gave them was the same. When we drove right by, figured they only buy some beer. Hate to support the habit, how easy is it for us to judge someone who doesn't have a thing? Oh no, my mother raised me right, taught at an early age, boy, if you got it, give. Cause God forbid the day you don't and no one seems to give a I swear to God I hate to curse, or swore that I would curse the day I put a price on human life. And do you truly know your worth? What's the value of life as opposed to the cost of living? Cause it's easy to mix the two when you're unemployed and evicted. Clock's ticking, so I give them my time and roll up my sleeves. We cut from the same cloth, falling apart at the seams, living life by a thread. But you reap what you sow. In fact, if it's a cold world, I'll take the shirt off my back. To keep you warm, I'm here to say I'll take the shirt off my back. Don't you ever look down on another. That's my sister, that's my brother. It should hurt your heart to see someone in pain. I suffer so much waste we throw away. And our third world has it hard, but we don't gotta look that far. We sabotage the land that's ours, poverty-stricken cities in our own backyards. But the rich will stay rich, while the poor get poorer. Over 30,000 Americans homeless, that's just in Florida. 10% of them are soldiers who earned medals for their service. Homeless veterans who fought all wars, was that their only purpose? Sad to say they're better off dying a casualty of war, because at least their death would guarantee their family support. It's a shame how this country can just set you aside after you risked your life. I thought they said no soldiers left behind, but they lied, so many times they lied. And still they ask us why the violence, why the desperation. Based on what you fed our minds, you starved us of our education. You got fat while we starved, so I make it hard to swallow. I prefer an empty stomach rather than a heart that's hollow. Better to be selfless than be selfish. They say talk is cheap, so let's put words to action. Let's get bodies off these streets and put meaning to these words, cause everybody's gotta eat, right? But that's a pretty penny to the businesses who profit, renovate, move out the lower class who's acting out of pocket. So they blame it on our genes, we slacking off as best described. But I still put my pants on, one leg at a time, cause you'd be surprised how a very little good a man would do to help his neighbor. Don't ask me for no favors, cause I'm asking you, where were you when I ate ramen noodles or that Campbell soup? Or when I was eating out the trash because the garbage was my canned food? Man, you a damn fool to bite the hand that feeds. However, animals like cannibals, but you don't understand the lecture. Instead of feeding each other, we eating off of each other. We leeching off of each other. We even offing each other, killing one another for crumbs instead of breaking bread. Forget the money, I'm just hungry, struggling, trying to make amends. Cause this ain't how I started. When I started trying to make these ends, it's just the way I ended up. That's not the way it has to end. 10 toes down, you gotta think on your feet. I keep an eye out for them sneaks with my soul to the streets. Before you ever overstep, better watch how you move if you yourself are not willing to walk in someone else's shoes. Cause I've seen the richest men with the poorest of souls, but I'd rather be a man with nothing, completely satisfied with everything he owns. The individuals you have seen in this video are by no means meant to portray any fictitious roles. These are not actors, but very real people living very real lives. They are the underprivileged and less fortunate of our society. They are the forgotten, overlooked, and ignored. Since you refuse to hear their cries, they have entrusted me to tell you their stories in hopes you may ease their suffering. They have allowed me to show you their pain. Will you still turn a blind eye to those that have yet to be seen? It is the sole purpose of this video for you, the viewer, to see life as they see it, so that you may for once put yourself in their position and understand their struggle. It is meant for you to take into consideration what over 500,000 Americans have now come to know as a reality. But do not misinterpret this as just one lone effort. I am but one of many who dedicate their lives to changing the status quo, and we will not stop, and we will not quit, and we will not give up on our brothers and sisters. We who still believe in basic human decency, we who take solace in knowing humility still exists and that no man, no woman is greater than the next. We are all equal, and as such, we all deserve the right to not only live, but to thrive. We who provide for each other in times of distress so that no one should ever have to feel the need or want for anything. Not here, not anywhere. For what we represent is the awakening taking place right now around the globe. Will you join us? Ask yourself, will you join us? Because there is currently 1.6 billion people that are now living below the poverty line, and that is a line very few of us ever get to cross over, for it is a line created by social class and reinforced by those who wish nothing more than to keep us divided. We are no different. Believe me when I say this, we are no different, because the only thing that separates us is the privilege to have what others do not. So it is our obligation to give, because we have been blessed to be in the position to do so. It is our obligation to give, because anything else would be to take for granted a life that many others can only wish to obtain.